So the mind-body connection is a subject which generates a great deal of excitement in the New Age, spiritual, and alternative health communities. However, following this train of thinking generally only creates more problems and separation in the long run. So what we're going to do in this video is break down this idea, break down this half-truth, so that we can then see and understand what's actually going on and what's actually true in this matter. So, speaking of which, what is actually true? The mind and the body are not connected. I'm going to let that sort of sink in and resonate for a second because, we go from one model, which is sort of the standard mechanistic model of science, which says we're just this mechanism and everything is always separate parts. And then we take a little baby step further to the sort of New Age or spiritual understanding, which says, no, it's not all separate, it's all connected. But the truth is, the mind and the body aren't connected because they're actually one in the same process. Thus, there's no separation, thus there's no need for connection. And you might think, well, how is this so and how is this true? Well, it's true because mind is matter and matter is mind. That might sound a little arcane, so let's look at it like this. When we are thinking about matter, when we're pondering or meditating upon matter, where is this taking place? Right here in our mind. Yet, where does our mind exist? Right here inside of our body, which is matter. Hence, mind is matter, matter is mind. Yet, following this train of thought, it's easy that we could think, well, what about our spiritual nature? What about our soul? What about our higher self? Yet, we have to ask ourselves, when we're thinking about these sort of concepts, where are we doing that? Where are we thinking about that? When we're dreaming of other worlds, or we're dreaming of previous and past and whatever lives and reincarnations, where is this taking place? Right here. Right here in our body, right here in this moment right now, right here inside of our mind, etc. So, how does buying into this half-truth of this mind-body connection create more separation? Well, number one is that it basically reinforces the belief system of separation through sort of false dichotomies. And this line of thinking is just a product of the hierarchical and feudalistic model of looking at reality, which basically seeks to divide and rank everything in a hierarchical and feudalistic manner. Second is what I'm saying here is not theory, it's not conjecture, it's not hypothesis, it's right there implicit within the language. Mind, body, connection. Two separate objects which are somehow magically connected. And this is where people get tripped up and caught up. It's like, oh, how are they connected? How does it work? It's like, well, if you start off asking the wrong question, that's going to lead you down sort of the wrong path. Because there's a saying I learned a long time ago, which is basically direction determines your destination. It's kind of like you set your sail, and you might, be trying to sail across the ocean or across the world, and if you set just a half a degree or a couple degrees in the wrong way, you're going to end up in a really different place than where you're actually trying to go. So again, implicit in that statement is that two separate things are somehow magically connected. It's not theory, it's not conjecture, it's just implicit within the statement, which then goes back to what I was just talking about earlier about the belief system, which is only reinforcing separation and false dichotomies because it's based on a hierarchical and feudalistic model of reality. So that is precisely how buying into that half-truth really just creates more problems and more separation in the long run because it's based on false and really half-true premises, assumptions, and axioms about the way the world is. So now let's sort of throw in some fun stories and illustrations to break this point down further so that we can then understand it from a different way. And the first thing is a story which comes from Shuangzi, which is an ancient Chinese philosopher. And basically he says this about the human body and sort of dividing it up into all these different little divisions. He says, think of the human body with all of its manifold divisions. Which part of it does a man love best? Does he treat them all with equal affection, or does he have favorites? Don't they all serve him equally? And do these servants then govern themselves, or are they then subdivided into rulers and subjects? It seems that there may be a governor or ruler within all of this, but no one could ever find it. So that's just an interesting and entertaining story which really illustrates what we're talking about here. But to take it a little bit further and dig in a little bit deeper, I'm going to throw in a couple other examples. First is think of your senses. Think of all of the senses that we have: touch, taste, sight, smell, etc. And we can ask ourselves, which is the most important to our lives? Which is the most necessary? Which is the least necessary? Which one could we live without? Which one comes first? Which one comes last? Which one rules? And which one serves? Second, let's think about all of our organs, all the different systems and organs within our body. Our heart, our liver, our kidneys, our spleen, our pancreas, our reproductive organs, our small intestine, large intestine, musculatory system, skeletal system, lymphatic system, nervous system, etc. And ask ourselves, which is the most important to life? Which one can we live without? Which one comes first? Which one comes last? Which one rules and which one serves? And then tie it all up and wrap it all up in a nice package and ask ourselves, where did it all come from? Well, it came from one sperm and one egg, which then formed us. It's formed our fetus, which then out of everything has grown. So those two things then came together and created one whole thing, out of which here we are. So hopefully that sort of shed some light on this sort of mind-body connection myth, and hopefully expanded sort of your perception and helped you to see this from a different angle and see how that a lot of the sort of spiritual or amazing truths that are propagated and put out on display or on the marketplace, whatever you want to call it, are really just sort of rehashing the same old mechanical, hierarchical, feudalistic model of reality, which is very much what the sort of mainstream modern paradigm is based on. So if we're wanting to break out of that, which I assume you probably are if you're watching this video, then these are things which we need to talk about, examine, and thus deprogram. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I will talk to you soon.